it's Renee with Delaney Jane Cards. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a card featuring a digital image by Chic Chickadee Crafts, and I'm using some dies. I showed you this pink and mane scalp die. I don't actually end up using it. These are the digital images that I'm going to use. You can pick yours up at chickchickadeecrafts.etsy.com. I will have the link below in the description box. But my video here is in conjunction with a blog post that I have over on the Die Cut Divas blog. I'll have that linked below as well. But Die Cut Divas is a challenge blog. I'm on their design team, and this month Chic Chickadee Crafts is hosting a giveaway. All you have to do is use your die cut machine. It's an anything goes monthly challenge. So use your die cut machine. You can emboss, you can use a big shot, you can die cut, you can use a silhouette like I did here when I cut out these images. So I ran some 80-pound Nina through my printer, and I printed out my elephant and some sentiments that I wanted to use in my card. Now I'm looking for some advice here because I am very new to the silhouette game. My friend Marie, she hosts the blog Another Card Making Blog, which is super good blog, by the way. She's an excellent card maker and has been blogging for a very long time. So I will link her below too. But she helped me figure out how to get this silhouette of mine off the shelf and into use. And it's been a long time since I've owned it, so I very much appreciate it. Anyway, she also showed me how to use digital images and cut them out. So I was very well versed, I guess, in cutting images out for this challenge. What I'm doing here is I'm coloring my elephant with my W markers, use W3 over the entire body of the elephant, and now I'm adding in the deepest, darkest shadows with my W7, and I will go through and I will blend this out with my W5. And I'm just going to pull it out. It's a 3-color blend. I'm not doing anything spectacular here. I will tell you that I am not used to coloring dies that are already, or die cuts that are already cut out, and I'm having trouble holding it down. And see, I slipped there and then I colored the wrong part. A friend of mine, Amanda from Rise and Procrastinate, she suggests that I leave my cut images in their negative space, and that's probably a super stellar suggestion, but I had already thrown it away before I colored this. So I'm looking for some other tips and tricks. And as you see here, I do turn my image a lot. So like temporarily adhering it down to my mat is not a good idea. Also, I have this newer camera angle, and I did this because sometimes when I watch somebody color, I really want to see what the nib of the marker or what the paintbrush is doing or what they're doing with how they're holding it. So I thought that I would try this angle out. You'll have to let me know what you're thinking about this new angle that I've included in my videos, if it's worth it to you or not. But I did it because I wanted you to see exactly how I was using my markers or my paintbrush or my colored pencils, and to give you a little bit of a up close and personal look at the coloring. So here I was just filling or fixing my little error, and I was just pushing the color back into the elephant. It doesn't eliminate color, and it doesn't really blend it. It just pushes it around. And I added a little red to his mouth, a little pink to his cheek, and then used my cool grays here for his toes. I wanted them to be gray, but I didn't want them to blend it. So then I added some white gel pen detail dots on the cheeks, and then I was going to add just a little bit of detail, but once I started, he started to really look like a plastic baby chew toy, and I thought how perfect for a baby card. And the elephant's kind of drawn, I mean, very simplistically, and I do like that about this image, which is why I picked this one. There's several images in their shop, including a coffee themed image, or stamp set, which I think several of the design team members picked. There's some other ones too in there that were really kind of cute. There was an elephant, or the elephant one, yeah, that's what we're using. There was an owl and some others too. So I will leave the link below to check out the store and make your wish list, so that when you win the challenge, that you'll know exactly what you want. So I did all my die cutting off screen, and you'll see I did use that pink and main die, and I die cut that scallop border. I don't end up using it because somewhere between the die cutting and the putting together, I realized that I die cut it out of black, and I used black for my background, so that was not going to work. I think I realized it right about here, because I was like, oh yeah, I wanted this, and then I realized that it's black on black, and that's not going to work. So then I thought I would try to do something a little different, and in the end I just didn't use it because it didn't do what I wanted it to. So I lined this paper up. Now these are two different companies, two different paper pads, and the papers go well together. Now they don't match exactly. And you know what? Papers don't have to match exactly. They just have to sort of go together. Um, the black in this whole entire design will tie everything together. It also breaks up the patterns enough that you will not see that those colors do not exactly match. The way that I'm going to lay this out, I used this "Congratulations on Your Baby." I used that to kind of hide the seam between the elephant paper and the stripe paper. And it makes it so you don't see the difference in color. You don't go, hey, that blue is quite, a shade or two off. You don't see it enough for you to do that. And then here, this polka dot paper matches exactly the stripes, but not exactly the elephant paper. But the black border around that circle makes it so that you don't see that there is a shade or two different in that blue. So you don't have to have everything exactly matching, and there is no rule that says you can only use paper from one paper pad when making a card. There just isn't a rule. And if there is a rule, well, then it's meant to be broken, because you can make beautiful things without using the same paper pad. So here I'm just adding some foam tape to my elephant because I do want to pop him up. I made sure that he was covered completely, and then I am going to add foam tape to these two little circle elements. One is the back of, I believe, the stripe paper. It has like little baby diaper pins on it, so I just used a small circle die and I cut one out so that it was centered. And the other one is from an additional piece of paper I pulled out of the Doodlebug pad, and it has like little zoo animals on it, and it has, I die cut the little elephant scene out because, well, we're doing elephants here. And the elephant is drawn exactly the same way as it is in the background paper, so they go together well. And then I have this little piece of black cardstock here, and I'm not going to add a black square on my card. What I'm doing is kind of shimming the foam tape on the one edge of the larger circle with the elephant. It's going to hang off that double layer of pattern paper and cardstock that the elephant is sitting on, and if I didn't do that, it would kind of slope down and maybe even crease, and I want to make sure that everything's nice and level and even. So I just added those two little tiny pieces of cardstock, and that made it all nice and even. And then I put this little scene on here, and I thought it was just super cute. It's just tiny and sweet, and who knows, maybe this is, I mean, you could even give this to a zookeeper if they have a brand new elephant, but I think it would be great as a baby card. It's super sweet and lovely. So here I'm adding the elephant, and I'm taking all the backing off all this foam tape, and I get my foam tape from Amazon. I've seen a couple of different brands. This one is like $10 for 2 rolls of foam tape, and I make a ton of cards, and if you've been here before, you know that I date the inside of my foam tape and stuff like that. And I've been using this particular roll since December, like late December. No, probably mid. I think it says the 21st. So, I mean, I'm getting a lot of cards out of them, and so it's really, I mean, I'm getting my money's worth. And also at $10 for 2 rolls of foam tape, I think that's pretty good. And the backer tape comes off pretty easy. So, the bottom part here where I was going to have that scalloped edge, it was going to be too plain. I mean, black really isn't a baby color. I like adding black. Because it just makes my colors stand out and things like that. And I thought that it would help transition between the different pattern papers. But I didn't want this giant chunk of black at the bottom. So I used these Love from Lizzie peel-offs, and I put the two thickest ones, or the two of the thickest ones, one on the top, one on the bottom, and then I put a mid-size one right in the middle, and now I'm going to span between the mid-size and the largest with the thinnest strip because they come three different widths on a sheet. And what I like most about these is they aren't super shiny. They're like almost like a matte silver, but they do have shine to them, but they're not super shiny. So they went really well with the elephant. It's kind of the same tone and feeling. So I thought that they were a very good embellishment. So I cut and scored, and now I'm folding a card base, and it's just made out of some heavyweight cardstock from my local Michaels. I use that for my card bases. I find that I get the most for my money out of that. And then I just adhered to this other sentiment that I had printed and cut with my silhouette out and put it in the inside and adhered my card front to my card base. Now I will have the Die Cut Divas blog listed below, and I do encourage you to go over there and check it out. You can also hop along on the challenge page and check out everybody's projects that they have added to the challenge this month. And like I said, it's an anything goes as long as you're using a die cut machine of some kind, and you can even emboss with it. So here's some still shots of my card. I'd love some tips and tricks on coloring when it's already die cut, and I'd like to know if you like that camera angle. Is that something that you are particularly fond of? Anyway, thank you for stopping by. I would love it if you would subscribe, and as always, give cards generously. Bye!